Reinvention is the key to overcome new challenges and keep growing. Welcome to South Summit 2020. A new networking platform with a revolutionary live TV format to access and connect from any device, anytime, and anywhere. Join South Summit 2020 and multiply your business opportunities.
Hola and welcome to day 3 of South Summit 100. My name is Oisín Lunny and I'm thrilled to be your host for the next 90 minutes of exciting startup, scale-up and unicorn action in the category of consumer trends. We've had 2 thrilling days already of the most exciting tech pitches and inspiring conversations, and today South Summit will be welcoming tech VIPs and thought leaders from the global ecosystem to share their insights and predictions on our high-tech hybrid stage right here in La Nave in Madrid. And we will also be challenging 11 smoking hot startups to battle it out in front of our panel of extra judges in the category of consumer trends. And don't forget that the pitch who wins this competition will go through to the final, which is happening later today, where there can only be one winner for the grand prize. And don't forget, you can also tune in today to 2 brilliant parallel tracks which are happening right now. And these are fintech and travel and tourism. And make sure to remember to join our prime time session later today, where you're going to hear from leaders like Nick Nash, Katie Coleman, Carlos Sanz, and others. So don't miss it. Now, we're here in Madrid on this 8th year of South Summit, but it's been a pretty interesting year, so we're doing it differently. As those who've joined us for the past few days will know, we've pivoted and made this into an interactive TV experience, so it's very exciting. But we're not just here in Madrid, we're also in New York, Singapore, Buenos Aires, Milan, London, Barcelona, and San Francisco. South Summit this year is more global than ever, and everyone is connected. So today we're going to be covering 4 really exciting areas, and they are gaming, personalization, real estate, and virtual worlds. And virtual worlds and gaming have both been really in the news recently, with a Travis Scott appearance in the virtual world in the Battle Royale game of Fortnite, which attracted over 12 million viewers for a performance in this virtual world. And our opening conversation is between 2 very brilliant thought leaders, one of whom I used to work with many moons ago in the virtual world of Habbo Hotel, which is a real pioneer in the space. At one stage, Habbo Hotel had more items for furniture for sale than IKEA, and they welcomed celebrities like Justin Bieber, Calvin Harris, and Miley Cyrus into their virtual avatar-driven world. He just sold his company, Small Giant Games, for over $1 billion. That's a real major EU success story. And yes, I told you, we promised you unicorns, and here they are. So amigos, please welcome to the South Summit virtual stage for our first session of the day, 2 gentlemen who can see into the future and are very kindly sharing their insights with us here. Welcome to the stage, Timo Soininen from Small Giant Games and Sean Seton Rogers from ProFounders. How are you both?
Very good. I feel like this is Eurovision coming at you live from London. Very exciting stuff.
Awesome.
Timo, how are you?
I'm really good. Great to see you, Oisín. It's been a while. We used to work together back in the day, so it's great to see you. And I'm very happy to be here.
Lovely to see you, Timo. Great to meet you, Sean. And Timo, I follow your updates. It's been such a joy to follow everything you've been doing over the past 10 years. So guys, I'm going to leave you to it. Sean, you're joining our jury later on, but I'm sure you have some great questions for Timo in the meantime. Take it away.
Excellent. Thank you very much. So as Oisín said, my name is Sean. I'm with ProFounders Capital. We are a venture capital fund based in London. We write checks from €500,000 to €1.5 million, invest in companies like Made.com, Get Your Guide, Unity. And of course, the reason I'm here interviewing Timo is we were proud investors in Small Giant Games as well, which, as was mentioned, was bought by Zynga for $1 billion about 18 months ago or so. And Timo, on behalf of everyone, thank you very much for joining us today. So I believe we have 7 minutes. I have 5 questions for you, so we'll have to race through this. First question for you. So I know, as an investor in Small Giant, the first game that the company launched unfortunately didn't work out. The second game unfortunately didn't work out. what gave you and the team the confidence that Empires and Puzzles, your third game, would work out? What did you learn from the first two games that you could apply to that next shot at it?
Yeah, great question. So first of all, I would say that I mean, we learned our lessons throughout the journey. So first game, we spent too much time on it. We were not fast enough to build it. And we were focusing on, let's say, not the real metrics of the game. We were focused on a little bit of like vanity stuff like pixel perfect graphics and things like that. Whereas we should have been more focused on the actual content depth of the game, and how does the actual user retention work. So in short, we were not enough data oriented. We trusted more our opinions than data. But I suppose, it was a very painful learning experience when you spend almost 2 years of your time with your darling, and then your darling turns out to be not your darling. But we had the guts enough to actually kill the project very quickly and take all of the learnings that we could possibly get. And and the key thing was really to go into the data-driven iterative development and throw away your opinions.
Yeah, no, it's true. And from the investor side, we always say you don't invest into a game, you invest into a team who builds games. And that was definitely the case when with Small Giant Games as well. So as we mentioned, Empires & Puzzles launched. It did amazingly well from the very, very beginning, which is a testament to the team and the product. And yet 3 years later, Empires & Puzzles is still doing very well. It's still near the top of the charts from a top grossing perspective. So what has driven the longevity of that game?
Yeah, first of all, I think we did a lot of homework back in the day. So we found a sort of market niche that was really, we thought at that time that would be sustainable for a long time, and that turned out to be right. So we really didn't trust our opinions. We went to we did a desktop research on the market opportunity. We dissected about 50 top games down to the progression mathematics. So we understood what works in the games and what doesn't work, and we sort of incorporated a lot of those systems and bake that with a nice sort of concept that has sort of lasted a long time. So the original sort of positioning was correct, but then after that, it's really been sort of listening to our players, very carefully. We have every single feature that we do is tested with beta testers with our community before we launch them, but it's really about the content and feature cadence, so that we have one of the best live ops operations in the world in terms of how we keep the game refreshed, and it just never ends. It gets bigger and bigger, so that we cater for the elder players, so they always have more things to do, go deeper into the game. And of course, the newcomers who come to the game, they have a vast sort of environment and game to explore.
Now, that sounds daunting, and it sounds like you would have a lot of people needed at Small Giant to be able to deliver that. But actually, I know, at least in the early days, that wasn't very true. It was an insanely small team, even up till the stage of exit. Maybe you can tell us how you maintain that hyper growth with an incredibly lean team. I think you were under 30 people when the business was bought. Is that right?
No, that was much less. So, what is quite remarkable about this, because, the name Small Giant sort of, we had to be small, because otherwise we couldn't be Small Giant, right? So we had to keep, so this very big game was built literally by 12 people. Small teams are just much more efficient. And when you couple that with the very rigorous decision-making, because, if you're a small team, you can only do a few things. And luckily, those few things were exactly the right things to do. And the combination of decision-making and good individuals was the trick.
It's unbelievable. So 12 people and sold for right around $1 billion. I think you're right. That has to be a record in any industry. So it's amazing. Now,
well, at the time we sold, we were 34, I think.
Okay, that's right. You had added. Yeah. Not that big in the grand scheme of things. And clearly Zynga made a very attractive offer for the business. But what convinced you to actually sell versus staying independent? Because there's definitely a path to continuing to remain independent and drive the business forward.
Yeah, that's a great question. So we were in a fortunate position that a lot of the big boys started knocking our door, and we could choose. So and we did have conversations about that. Should we stay independent? But of course, games business is a fickle business, and one of the concerns was that we had a very significant offer on the table. But we figured, there were like four things really. First of all, we wanted to make sure that if we find a buyer who would really guarantee that we could maintain our unique culture and way of working, staying small, if you like. And Zynga's model was really a collection of, independent nation states, if you like, studios that can operate on their own. So that was a match. The second thing is that we knew from our mathematics for our data models that this game we were only at the beginning. We were in the bulk of $200 million revenue. We're very profitable at that time. We knew that over the next few years, we're going to make a lot of profit. And we said, if we can find a model that, yes, we can, get a decent amount of money right now, but we can also have an uncapped, unlimited earnout model that would, basically allow us to share the results with the new parent. And that fitted, Zynga's thinking perfectly. And there was another take. So the model was, we continued to be as entrepreneurs with a little bit of money in the bank, whilst still having a big opportunity to get the really big money later on. So that was really important, because we did have some big cultural clashes with some of the other buyers, very alien culture and sort of ways of working. We wanted to work with nice professional people who share the same vision and same ways of working and just love mobile games. And it was like four sort of ticks in the box, and there you go.
There we go. Match made in heaven.
Thank you. That was absolutely brilliant. Tick, 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 tick. Don't be afraid to kill your darlings. Choose your moment and pivot to agile, data-driven development. Absolutely sage advice there. And congratulations to all involved. That was great. So that was a fascinating, inspiring success story. And do we want to find out who the small giant games of the future are? Yes, we sure do. So we're going to kick off the South Summit 100 startup competition in the category of gaming within consumer trends, and we're going to hear from three hopefuls. Now, as you might know from the previous days of two exciting days of battles, each startup has 3 minutes to pitch to our amazing jury, who will then make notes and ask a maximum of 2 probing questions that each can take no longer than 30 seconds, and we will be keeping that clock very tight. The 5 criteria that are being used by the judges to evaluate the startups are innovation, scalability, team viability, and investability. And are you excited already? Because I certainly am. Because we have a special jury, including Sean there, gathered from all over the world, joining us virtually and joining us at La Nave here in Madrid. So I thought I'd pop over and just say hello to our wonderful socially distanced judges who are looking fabulous, and thank you so much for joining us. So I am welcoming to the stage from Sabadell, Marion Bauer, lovely to see you here, and from Plug and Play Tech Center, Lucia Latorre, lovely to meet you, great. And last but by no means least, we also have from Wayra, a fabulous, fabulous company, Paloma Castellano. Thank you all so much for joining us here in La Nave. It makes a great difference to have people here in person. You get a different vibe, but I think it's wonderful that South Summit is bringing together the physical and the digital. And speaking of which, we're going to go over to our wall here of virtual judges. And I believe we might have a representative from quite a small startup you may have heard of called Google. And we're delighted to welcome Jorge Nogales. Jorge, there you are, top right-hand corner. Lovely to see you. And welcome, everybody. Nice to see you. I won't name everybody because we're going to keep it tight on time, but I look forward to your questions. So we're going to go to block 1 of our fabulous startup competition, and we're going to hear from some fantastic gaming companies. But as many of you will be aware, the market crisis caused by COVID-19 has really had a devastating effect on many industries. But gaming has really soared as more people have gone into lockdown, and they've been researching how to have some quality entertainment that is not only fun, but also completely interactive and also competitive. So gaming has absolutely soared during the pandemic. Actually, according to a global gaming study on the impacts of COVID-19 by Simon Kucher and partners and Dynata, there has been a 30% growth in players who spend more than 5 hours a week playing video games. And the good news is they are spending more money. In fact, there has been a 39% increase growth in monthly spending, and 60% of players are playing new games and trying new formats like multiplayer. So as we saw there with Timo, it's really tick, 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 all tick, 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 tick. All of the indicators are going in the right direction. So there's a real world of opportunity here for the right idea in gaming, and we are going to meet some of them today. And I would like to welcome to the stage our first startup of the day to make their pitch in 3 minutes and not a second longer. They are Cloudware from Spain, a cloud gaming platform that allows the user to play any game purchased from a digital video game retailer, and they're able to play their game on any device. Absolutely brilliant. And here to claim his 3 minutes in front of our esteemed panel of judges is their CEO, Daniel Olmedo Nieto. Daniel, your time starts now.
Hi, South Summit. Thank you so much for the opportunity. My name is Daniel. I'm Cloudware's CEO, and I'm going to talk about the great gaming platform that we are building that will give you the possibility to get rid of all this machinery that you would probably have if you're a gamer. So if you just want to focus on gaming, forget about the hardware, then Anywhere is your gaming platform. Anywhere is a cloud gaming platform that allows you to play all your video games in all your devices. What we do is we execute the video game in the cloud, and we send real-time streaming to your device so you're able to play. The only thing that you have to do is to link your video game store account with Anywhere, and you're good to go. All the library that you have of video games will be automatically populated in Anyware's account. So if you think of it this way, Anywhere is a service that gives you the possibility to bring the gaming experience wherever you go in a very simple way. The platform right now is in a beta stage in which users can subscribe for $4.99 per month. And one interesting information about the gaming industry is that 1/3 of the planet plays video games. So we want to be that new consumption model that other platforms have done in other industries. We believe that the biggest market to tackle and the most interested, that the ones that have showed more interest in the cloud gaming services like us are the casual gamers. And we also know that this field is getting more and more crowded by other players, like, for example, Stadia. We know that in differentiation of these players, we have two main differentiators. The first one of it is that we are able to give you more than 10,000 video games that you can bring to the platform. So you will be able to have more than 10,000 different experiences inside Anywhere. And we also have a new algorithm that solves, let's say, the two main problems in the cloud gaming field, which is the latency and the stability of the streaming when you have a bad internet connection. These are some of the numbers of the platform. We have 10,000 users registered in the platform, and 55% of them are between 18 and 26 years old. And this is the team behind the scenes of the platform, and this is my contact information. So if you want to know more about Anywhere, please visit playanywhere.com. And if you want to know, or if you want to be involved in some way on the story of how the gaming industry changed, let's talk. Thank you.
Fantastic. With 13 seconds left to spare, that was a tight presentation. Okay, so we're going to stroll over here to our wall of judges from all over the world. Do you have any questions from Daniel about that fantastic service? Do we have any questions from Le Nave? If you have a question, just put up your hand. Do you think this is an exciting area? 1/3 of the population of the planet are playing video games. Do you have a question about this? If you put up your hand. Okay, and we're going to go to Hans Muntekas from IE University. So Hans, if you will come and join me over here, we will dial in Daniel or Danielle. And yeah. Yes, okay. So and then you can ask your question directly.
Thank you for a very nice presentation. My question to you in 30 seconds. I saw your slide with Netflix and Spotify, and they all had competitors on their way to achieving their user mass. So my question to you is, who is your competitors, and how do you distinguish compared to those?
Fabulous.
Thank you for the question. What I can say is that we have those two key differentiators that I mentioned in the presentation, which is we are the ones that are able to provide the most catalog available. We have the possibility to synchronize with all the games that you already have. And we believe that this gaming sector is going to be a very fragmented market. So, for example, Netflix has a lot of competitors, but it's not the only company that is offering that service. You have also Amazon Prime, you have also HBO. So we believe that we're going to be one of those.
And I'm afraid that's it. We do have to keep the time very tight. Thank you very much, Daniel, and thank you for that brilliant question. Okay, well, I'm going to wave at our judges over there in the physical world of Le Navet and in our virtual world here. We have time for one more question, which will take 30 seconds and not a second more, as you can see. Any more questions? We're kind of addressing this whole move from ownership to access with Netflix and over there. Okay, wonderful. So we have Paloma from Wyra. Okay, we're moving from ownership to access. We're using Netflix. We're using Spotify. What does this mean for the world of gaming? And what brilliant question do you have for our friend Daniel?
First of all, thank you for the presentation and the amazing pitch. Just a question, how are you acquiring users?
Great question. User acquisition. What say you, Daniel?
Yeah, we did some experiments in the past, in-house experiments, and tried to gather users from all the research that we've done and the most interested segmentation of the population that we have in the service. But most of the growth that we've had, 50% of the growth that we've had has been during the pandemic. So as we've mentioned in this presentation, the gaming industry is growing even more now, and most of the more than 10,000 users that we've gathered during this time, most of them has been organically, purely organically.
Fantastic. Okay, that was brilliant presentation. Very quick and great questions and good answers there. So we are going to now explore this area of gaming. It's so hot. And we're actually going to welcome two wonderful people to join us here in Le Navet who are going to discuss this with another guest who is joining us virtually. So first of all, I'll welcome our real-world guests, who are Sergio Gonzalez Sanz from SimpleCloud, and hola, and Mariano Martinez, who is a Director of Partnerships at Telefonica. Welcome both.
Thank you.
Bienvenidos. And we are going to welcome a virtual guest who is Alberto Martinez Guerrero from Streamloots. Okay, nice to see you. Hello and welcome. Hey, Alberto. Because you're joining us virtually, I'm going to start with you, if that's okay. Gaming, as we've seen, is a really big deal in 2020. The sector is already bigger than music and movies combined, and many predict that esports is going to be the biggest format in entertainment. How would you recommend that people can make a living from their passion?
Well, there are a few different ways to make a living from video games, but the important thing is it's not about playing video games, it's about creating entertainment. So you can do this in two different ways. The first one is creating competition around the games, and the second one is creating fun and interesting content around the game that people is like looking forward to consume. The first one is really similar to traditional sport. Like, there's a lot of people playing football, for example. In fact, I can go out and play football, but I'm not going to make a living because I going out and play football. So you need to be the best one, or at least one of the best, to make a living from it. Because at the end, when you are the best, teams hire you to play for them. And they have money to pay you because actually they have an audience. They have like a lot of people that enjoy and are entertained by that competition that you are creating. So in esports, it works exactly the same. If you are going to make a living from competition, you need to be one of the top players in the world, and teams are going to pay you to entertain the audience. There are two big difference, which is basically that on esports, there's a private company owning the game, and also that it does not require like physical abilities, right? And the other part, like, hey, how can you make money with esport if you are not a top player? Well, at the end, it's all about what we mentioned before. It's about creating entertainment. So there's a lot of people creating engaging content while playing video game, even if they are not the best player, because they are fun, because they are smart, because they have charisma. So they're basically competing with Netflix or with television or even with YouTube or any social media. Viewers have at the end, viewers have a limited amount of time to consume content. So these gamers or creators are competing with all of those platforms that give content to viewers.
Real quick, how does Streamloots fit into this picture that you've just painted?
Well, at the end, I mentioned before that creators have become a new way of entertainment, and they are competing with Netflix or television. But in order to do that, they need to make a living from it. And this is exactly what we do. They gather big and super engaged audiences from TikTok or Instagram or Twitter or Twitch. And once they gather that audience, we help them monetize that audience. Basically, what we are trying to do is we are driving a shifting work from traditional employment arrangements to self-employment that allows greater autonomy and monetization of uniqueness and creativity of scales. Basically, we are trying to give creators the opportunity to directly communicate with their audience and add value directly to that audience by allowing their fans to purchase real-time interaction with them. The fans can purchase things like I play a game with you, or I make you play blindfolded for 2 minutes. I send you a dedicated video. Everything is possible. At the end, the fans are looking forward to pay for some second of attention of the influencer, and we give the influencer the tools to allocate that attention properly.
Fascinating. Thank you so much, Alberto. That was brilliant. Okay, how interesting. So we're going to come to yourself next, Sergio. Now, we're looking at remote working. It's the new normal, but this is something that's gone on in the content creation industries with round-the-clock production for a while. There's issues to take into account like content security, proprietary code. How is this helping bring us into a new world where people are working remotely? And what do you want to share about that world?
Well, I think COVID has changed completely how we work and how we live. And even when this all passes, that will happen.
Yes.
I think nobody will see the world in the same way, because even for an environmental perspective, air is cleaner right now, right? Because there are less cars. So I think from a society perspective, there is a need for telework and a need to find new ways of working. When it comes to content creation, and especially video games, people tend to think that playing the game is the same as creating the game. It's not the same at all. I mean, one thing is, creating a game is like a big production. It takes lots of people. It takes lots of time, and also it's very variant. I mean, there's a lot of changes while you are actually creating games, and adapting your investment, your requirements, let's say, easily into that production is really a threat. It's really a trend. I mean, yes. Something that is difficult to achieve. Yes. So I think platforms, the cloud is the solution for this. I mean, clearly the cloud is the solution for this. But how you use the cloud and how you are accessing the cloud is something that is the difference between being successful in the cloud and being successful in this new way of working or not.
Yeah. So, and have you seen demand for your cloud-based solutions accelerate during the pandemic?
Definitely.
Okay.
I mean, it has grown a lot. I mean, we focus not only in video games, also in media and entertainment, and also in architecture, engineering, education. Yeah. But at the end, it's about using the technology for creating the content with known applications. So don't reinvent the wheel. It's like if you have people with talent creating content in market, let's say, wide applications. What the cloud should look for is to provide a proper way to use those applications so the users can actually just extend what they know easily.
Thank you. That's absolutely fascinating. So we're going to move to yourself, Mariano. Now, as I like to call it, the world has really evolved to a species of phono sapien where everyone is doing everything on their mobile device. So obviously, you've got a really unique view on this whole world of consumer trends because everyone has a mobile phone. How do you see consumer trends in gaming from the viewpoint of a telecommunications company?
Okay, thank you for having me here. Definitely. Mobile gaming has been an incredible phenomenon. So Fortnite, PUBG, or Garena, Free Fire. So that's, for me, we will see a lot of evolution in mobile. For me, for us, mainly the key or more important change is going to be in the cloud gaming. Cloud gaming, it will represent a total new model for consumers. It will be the same transformation that we saw in the music or in the video streaming. It's going to happen in the video gaming industry. So for telecommunications company, cloud gaming is probably the main use case for new technologies, connectivity, in terms of connectivity. 5G or edge computing are going to benefit of these connectivity. So we are trying to not just offering the best gaming experience in terms of connectivity, but also offer to the consumers that, for instance, when they are home, they can prioritize the traffic to gaming so they can have a better experience, or maybe very simple, they can open the ports in the router for gaming. So that's something that will happen now. So that's a very important transformation for consumer adoption.
Fantastic. So the future is going to be anything but boring. My goodness, we're in for some exciting times. Thank you so much to Mariano, Sergio, and Alberto for joining us virtually. That was absolutely fascinating. Thank you, guys.
Thank you.
Brilliant. So I love podcasts. I present a couple of podcasts myself, and I listened to one by an Irishman, a fellow Irishman called David McWilliams, and he has some great guests on with him. And his guest on his most on an episode a little while ago was talking about growth after the pandemic, and she said it was going to be exponential. So it's not that things are going to be massively, bad or just the same. It's going to be exponential growth for certain sectors, and I think gaming is absolutely one of them. So with that in mind, we are actually going to welcome startup number 2, who's going to pitch to our fantastic panel of judges. And startup 2 is Dixper from Spain. They are bringing real interactiveness to the live game streaming market by providing streamers and viewers with disruptive interaction and monetization tools. So folks, we welcome to the stage the CEO and co-founder of Dixper, Ivan Mayo. Your 3 minutes exactly starts now.
Hello, my name is Ivan Mayo. I am CEO and co-founder at Dixper, where we are making live game streaming interactive. Let me tell you that live game streaming is today a big trend amongst global gaming industry, and successful live streamers have become worldwide celebrities. Today, more than 6 million gamers are sharing their gameplays to almost 1 billion people yearly, which is a huge entertainment industry. This industry has 2 problems. The first problem is the experience itself, because you can do today the same you could 10 years ago, which is just watching and chatting. So the experience here is ready for disruption. And the second problem is monetization itself, because it's easy for big streamers to monetize their audience, but not that easy for smaller long tail streamers to do the same. So it's charging for them to find new products to monetize, because they are killer sellers if they have a killer product. And this is what we are providing them at Dixper. We have developed a unique disruptive technology that enables those viewers to interact with the stream and with the game itself, where magic happens, those enabling them to make actions that could not be done before. And by using this technology, we have created our real-time in-game interactions marketplace for those streamers to monetize their audience. They sell these kind of interactions. We like to call these interactions skills, and these skills can perform things like this. Viewers can make the cursor of the game huge, they can freeze the character of the game, they can flip or rotate the screen while the streamer is playing, or for example, they can send blood to the screen, making the stream much more fun. Regarding the market, this is a fast-growing market, really resilient to coronavirus situations, for example, and we are also surfing a global trend where biggest technology players are pushing it hard, and we are not competitors to any of them. The way we go to market is really simple. We partner with key streamers. We know Dixper is viral by use because these streamers do always have more other streamers in their viewership. So we are hitting our viral loop this way. The way we make money is easy. We take a commission from each transaction. So we make money when streamers do. And I want to show you our trip now, which has been really successful. We released our MVP in January, and we are beating hardly our aggressive forecast. We are a team of 8 people, 3 co-founders. I was a core technology developer for PlayGiga, which was acquired by Facebook last year. And Alex and Luis are also co-founders and really experts on the gaming industry. As you can see, our mission is bringing interactiveness to the live streaming market and bringing back, breaking barriers between live streaming and gaming. If you want to learn more, I will be happy to chat. Thanks.
Fabulous. Again, coming in ahead of time, I'm very impressed. Just think about the amount of work that goes into making those presentations exactly 3 minutes or less. Do we have a question from our panels? Okay, yes, we do. We have a question. Thank you so much. So take it away.
Quick question around the platforms where your solution works. Does it work across different platforms, or are you guys focused on just one platforms, meaning Twitch or Facebook, YouTube, etc.? And what is the risk, if there is any, that such platforms may prevent your technology from working? Thank you.
Hi, Diego. Thank you for the question. Regarding the platforms we work with, we are starting with Twitch because it's the main platform in this area, and we will be integrating with all the rest of the platforms. This is not a problem of the technology. We can integrate with any. We are technology agnostic in this area. And regarding the risk of them trying to do so, I think it's not something that they will be looking to. At the moment, they are trying to build interactive games, but not a platform that makes interactions between the streamer and the game itself.
Wonderful. And exactly in 30 seconds, thank you, Diego, and thank you for that great answer. Do we have any more questions? Again, put your hands up. I see a hand raised over there in the Nave. Do we have any hands over here? We have our amazing production team behind the scenes who are streamlining the process and lining up the next question, which will be coming from Lucia Latorre from the Plug and Play Center, who is joining us here in person. So thank you so much, Lucia. Your 30 seconds with Ivan starts now.
Good morning, Ivan. Thank you very much for your presentation. I was wondering, you mentioned there's a target market of 1 billion users. What is your forecast for next year of users, streamers and viewers?
Regarding the forecast, we are even changing it because we are strongly, I said in the presentation, hardly beating, I meant strongly beating our forecast. And I cannot give concrete numbers because it is being kind of a madness at the moment. What I can say is we are growing between 50% to 100% each month. And we expect the next 12 months to be really, really huge exponential growth for our platform. All our growth is coming organically, I must say.
Okay, we gave you a few extra seconds there because that was a great video. Thank you so much, and thank you for the question here in the Nave. And at our South Summit stage here in the Nave, we're delighted to be joined by two gentlemen, Nacho Muta from Endesa and Xavier Fite from Ride Hive. So apologies if I haven't pronounced anybody's name right. My name is pretty difficult. It's an old Irish name, and I'm learning Spanish and Catalan names. So wonderful to be here. Thank you so much. Now, the conversation will be moderated by Ander. He is the co-founder of TicketBiz, a company acquired by eBay in 2016. And he's also an investor in Chiquissimo, Fintonic, Untruck, and Luckiero. So thank you so much for joining us. We are bringing together the physical and the virtual worlds here at South Summit 100. It is such a thrill to be here. And I'm going to hand over to you now, Ander, to moderate our next panel. Thank you, Ander.
I'm very happy to make an introduction for Oyer, our first panelist. He leads a company, he founded a company called Luckiero, which is an online personal service for women. The company has raised over 30 million euros, and I can say we're a proud investor through the fund that I manage, Oliron Ventures. So welcome, Oyer.
Thanks, Ander. How are you?
Good, good. Oyer, tell us a little bit more about Luckiero and its evolution so far.
So yes, as you were saying, Luckiero is an online personal shopper service for women. No? So how it works is like based on our client's style profile, a personal shopper will choose 5 clothing items for them that we will ship to their home. The clients will have 5 days to decide what they keep and return the rest. So this model has so much discovery component. Like the clients don't know what they are getting until they get the box home. So we help them discover new brands, new possibilities that they wouldn't have chosen by themselves. No? So we launched in 2016, and we are now present in 7 countries, and the team is nearly 400 people. So regarding the evolution, we've been in some growth path for these years. No, this year has been a little strange, but like after the lockdown was over, we managed to have our best top line month, and we are back on track on the growth path, like with also a good September, and looking forward to an exciting Q4.
I was saying that the success is great, and now you guys are just launching your TV campaign. So we're looking forward to see the results on that. One of the keys component of Loquiero is actually his personalization. You're able to personalize each box that is sent to the customers. So how do you do it, and what would you consider is your Loquiero secret sauce to do it?
Yeah, so personalization, as you were saying, is the core of what we do. No? Like we like to say that we offer the most personalized experience in the fashion industry, and that's thanks to the data we gather from our clients. So we gather so much data from their style profile with their taste, preferences, like budget, etc. But also we gather so much data from their feedback. So with every box, we get a structured feedback of the items we send them, and they tell us what they liked and what they didn't. No? So thanks to that, everybody learns. So our algorithms learn and get better and better, but also our teams of buyers, the personal shoppers, and all the teams learn, so we can improve the experience. No? So thanks to that, the more our clients repeat, the more personalized service we can offer, and a better experience that we offer to our clients. No? So the key is in the data, as I was saying.
Thank you very much, Oyer.
Thanks to you.
Nacho, you are the head of the product B2C department for Endesa. Endesa is a big utility company. Some would argue a very traditional company. How important is for you guys the data? Is there any kind of personalization that you offer on your services?
Data, as you can imagine, Endesa, with more than 11 million clients, handle a very big volume of data. And we use this data to give the clients different products, different services, always through the personalization. So the latest product that we have launched is a product Única. Call it unique. Única is the name, and Única it's really like a subscription model, no? And you know, in a subscription model, one of the main things that you can find there is the personalization. So data is the key to reach this kind of products. How do we do this kind of products? How do we build this kind of products? Okay, in this case, we have information of the consume of the customers, and we can build models and to know how the clients are going to consume the energy, not just actual clients, even the whole market. But it's not just the personalization, the key. There are more keys in this case. The simplicity, you know, you have to give to the clients a simple value proposition, easy to understand, easy to contract, like in a subscription model. You know, you have to pay in a monthly basis a fee. Are going to this kind of services like subscriptions, and we in Endesa, following the trend, the tendency, think that this is the way of the future of our sector.
Thank you very much, Nacho. Xavier, I'm sure you don't like data at Hive-Drive. I mean, electric scooters, hundreds of thousands of points of data. But how do you use that data to personalize the experience, of the user?
So we have to understand, and we're working on that, and how the customer is reacting on different factors like temperature, like raining days, like traffic congestions, how we can react and what we can offer to them to give them more flexibility with a flat rate, as you mentioned before. I think that the people is moving to have a budget of mobility, a budget of electricity, a budget for fashion, and I think that we have to offer this flat rate in order to give them as much service as they can, as much flexibility as we can, and offer the best service as we can.
Thank you, Xavier, Nacho. Oyer, a pleasure to have you here today. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Wonderful. Thank you all. Thank you, Xavier, Nacho, Oyer, and Ander for moderating. That was an absolutely fascinating conversation there. I love that idea that we're all moving towards always on personalized areas of electricity, of fashion, maybe for me less so, of mobility scooters, etc. Fantastic. My favorite startup might include Guinness somewhere in that mix. So anyway, now we are going to go back to our startup competition, and we have a really exciting one for you now. Our final hopeful in the category of gaming is Ego Games, who are going to be represented by their CEO and co-founder, Alejandro Saiz Novales. So, Alejandro, you get 3 minutes exactly. I wish you good luck, and then we'll have questions with the jury. Your 3 minutes starts right now.
Good morning. My name is Alejandro Saiz. I'm the CEO and co-founder of a company called Ego Games. We've created a technology that brings esports competitions to everyone's favorite mobile games. We're on a mission to massify this industry by bringing those simple titles that everyone has ever played in terms of them or in the mobile device in a way so everyone can become an athlete, an esports athlete, anyone, everywhere, anytime. Let's go now to say what an esport is. If I ask you what an esport is, you'd probably be thinking about those PC components such as Fortnite, that we already know them because of those players that are actually making a lot of money winning those competitions. But we haven't thought about those simple games that actually could expand the niche of the market, that actually could be enthusiastic about esports, and we could amplify the number of people that could make a living out of this industry, right? So what does an esport need to be considered like that? There's a skill game that actually has 3 components, and that's exactly what Ego Games provide, the whole infrastructure to create or transform any type of skill-based game into an esport. This way, we get rid of those in-app purchases and those advertisements that actually give a bad experience to the player. And in terms of that, we only provide with esports competition, giving a way better remuneration also to the game creator, so they can focus on doing what they love, that is created the best video games. If I want to state that, we give you a brief state of the industry, we can all agree that the mobile device is taking a leading role, increasing in terms of revenue higher than the PC and console combined, and there are already more than 2 billion mobile gamers worldwide. If I want to introduce mobile esports, as all traditional sports do, the player needs to train in order to become pro, and that's why we are competitive and provides free competition as well as real cash competitions. How it works is an SDK plugged into a current game just as a mere button or as their unique monetization way. The player would enter, deposit into account, pick a competition mode either for free or real money, pay the entry fee, which is 15 to 20% higher than the prize pool, and that's the revenue we split with the game creator in order to give the player the possibility to win real cash. Other services our SDK provides, the streaming part, the social one, and the leagues that actually is really good for retention, and we're currently giving away more than $100,000 every month. Our case study with 21 Jack from the developer Friday Mood. They're from Spain. They grew organically and they're making 6 times more revenue in ARPDAU than Candy Crush. There's also the case of the gamer making more than $3,000. It's pretty good with the game. We provide the whole technology system to ensure esports competitions. Our competitors, we got 2 main competitors. Our business model, we cover all of their parts, both with simple games, both with Manager, thanks to the partner studios that we already have. We did it thanks to a great team of 17 employees born and raised in Madrid, and that makes possible to host more than 100,000 tournaments every day, make players win over 1 million euros with Ego Games. We have more than 40 studios already partnered, 20 games launched, 70 to come, and we are creating a new entire industry empowering the mobile device, and we're not going to stop until our competitions are higher than all traditional sports we know combined. Okay. Thank you very much.
Fantastic, Alejandro. That was a brilliant pitch. My goodness, he squeezed so much information and went right down to the line there. That's what we like to see. Great stuff. Okay, so what did you think of Ego Games? Do you have any questions for Alejandro and this exciting, exciting category of gamifying gaming itself? As before, just raise your hands, our esteemed ladies and gentlemen of the jury. I see one hand up there. Are there any hands in the left? There's 2 hands up here. Okay, I feel like an auctioneer. And there's 3 hands. Okay, so we're going to go to Alexandre. So Alexandre, if you'd like to join us over here on this virtual screen, you get to ask Alejandro a question within 30 seconds exactly.
Hi, Alejandro. I just wanted to know what is the business model of the product?
Hello, I believe that our business model is to transform mobile Ego games into esports. We provide a full SDK that got all the composition of tournament system, anti-fraud, matchmaking, all the skill composition combined in order to promote these competitions and give everyone the possibility of winning real money cash. That's basically our business model. We partner with the studio and we give them our SDK in order to provide this competitive arena experience to all their players, increasing retention and increasing the engagement of them.
Okay, wonderful. Thank you very much. That was fascinating. A very nice, quick answer within 30 seconds. That's what we like to see. Any more questions from La Nave? We have a hand up over there. Do we have any hands up? We have a hand over here. My goodness. There's people competing for the questions. So yes, and we'd like to welcome back to the stage Sean, who had that great tap with Timo earlier. Sean, 30 seconds is all yours with Alejandro. Thank you.
Alejandro, quick question for you. What is the legality from a betting gaming perspective in the key markets for you?
Thank you, Sean. Thank you for asking me. It's a pleasure to answer you. Our legality is the same as all esports, all traditional sports do. What we do, we are skill-based. We make sure our competitions are 100% based on skill. There are not any chance involved in our competitions. We have certified our algorithm. We have made the patent and certified with PricewaterhouseCoopers. Therefore, we can provide esports competition worldwide in all countries except 32. That's what our geolocation services actually detect in order to promote either free or real money competitions worldwide.
Thank you for the question. Thank you for the answer. That was absolutely brilliant. My goodness, 30 seconds exactly. Okay, we're just going to quickly move into our next section, which is all about personalization within consumer trends. And the area of personalization is really where you'd expect to find references to folks like Philip K. Dick and the Minority Report. You might have seen that film where Tom Cruise is running through a shopping center and the billboards are chasing after him and saying, "Hey, Tom Cruise, would you like to buy this?" That technology actually exists in the Westfield Shopping Center in London. Facial recognition cameras check out your mood, your gender, your age, and then offer you personalized billboards based on that. So which business models are on the right side of privacy, and how can you leverage personalization effectively? Which of these startups from the Startup South Summit 100 competition are going to be innovating their way to success? Let's find out with our first pitcher, who is Adi Biter, the CEO of Nilus from Argentina, and they offer affordable and healthy food for low-income people. So take it away. Adi, your 3 minutes starts now.
Hi, my name is Adi Biter, and I'm the co-founder and CEO of Nilus. There are over 2 billion people in the world who suffer from food insecurity. This means that they do not have the resources to eat a healthy meal every day. This doesn't have to be this way if we consider that we waste over a third of the food that we produce while the food is perfectly edible, for reasons such as aesthetic or packaging defects, or because the food is about to expire. On top of this, food waste is a massive source of environmental damage. We emit over 3.3 gigatons of CO2 equivalents into the atmosphere because of the food that ends up being wasted. We also use 30% of the world's arable land and 20% of the world's hydric resources for producing food that ends up in trash cans. This is what we're here for at Nilus. We aim to eradicate hunger by rescuing healthy food at risk of being discarded and distributing it at discounted prices in low-income neighborhoods. The main enabler to fulfill our mission is the technology. We have created a cutting-edge digital platform that connects food companies with excess products with community kitchens in low-income neighborhoods where they can see their offer, order them online, and we then crowdsource the delivery of the food to each of the community kitchens using a crowdsourcing application. We started as an NGO in 2017 and have been rigorously prototyping and changing our model to adapt to market conditions. We realized that the traditional model of an NGO donating the food to soup kitchens does not work in informal economies like those in Latin America because the tax incentives to donate the food are not enough. In addition, we noticed that NGOs use part-time volunteers to perform the job, and we believe we need the best possible talent to tackle such a huge and important problem. And on top of that, we realize that there is an untapped sustainability in the $1 trillion market that the food waste represents. And on top of that, in Latin America alone, we spend over $4 billion every year feeding the poor. That's where we saw an opportunity to become a for-profit company in 2019. And that's how we pivoted our model and have been growing exponentially, particularly since the COVID pandemic erupted. And we're incredibly proud of being able to be useful at these times of emergency. This success in growing our model has allowed us to work with some of the world's most innovative companies that have either supported us or invested in our model, such as Google, Siemens, Walmart, SAP, Marriott International, the Clinton Foundation, and the Harvard Innovation Labs, among others. We hope to become part of the South Summit community to continue increasing our impact and continue fighting malnutrition. Thank you very much for the opportunity.
Thank you so much, Adi Biter from Nilus. What a brilliant, brilliant presentation. The area of food waste and food security is so, so important. So, as always, we invite our judges on our lovely cyber wall and at our lovely studio here at La Nave in Madrid to raise their hands if you have a question. Okay, we see one hand there. That's wonderful. Okay, we're going to go straight to Maxime. Maxime, if you'd like to come over here and join us and have a chat with Adi. Your 30 seconds starts right now.
Hi there, great presentation. I would just like to understand, how do you manage the logistics of bringing the food to community kitchens and ensuring that the quality of food remains edible and good?
Hi, Maxine. Thank you for the question. We work with licensed transportation professionals. We crowdsource the delivery from the source of the waste directly to our warehouse, where we inspect the merchandise, and in the same day we deliver it to the beneficiaries. So it's an end-to-end professionalized process that takes place within 24 hours.
Great question. Thank you very much, Adi. Brilliant, brilliant. Okay, and we have time for one more question. We have two hands over here. Oh my goodness. And do we have any hands over here on our virtual wall? We are going to go over here, and we will invite to ask the next question, Lucia Latore. So thank you so much for being patient and putting your hand up. I know we're trying to get around to everybody. So
It's fine.
Lucia, if you'd like to chat with Adi, your 30 seconds now.
Hello, Eddie. I wanted to know, where are you present? Because in the end, this is not like a software company. It's more like a physical thing. So where are you present, and what is your international expansion for the next years?
We are currently operating in Argentina, in Mexico City, and in Puerto Rico, and we're hoping to expand in Central America, particularly Guatemala and Honduras, and by 2022 expand to Brazil.
Coming in at 15 seconds. That might be a new record. Absolutely brilliant. So now we're going to hear from another one of our amazing pitchers. And this is the chance to hear from Giuseppe Scionti, who is the CEO and founder of Novameat, who are based in Spain. And Novameat is developing the technology to produce plant-based meats, of which I'm a big fan, alternatives with realistic appearance, taste, and texture of whole animal cuts. I think this is great. Check it out. So Giuseppe Scionti, CEO of Novameat, your 3 minutes, starts right now.
Hi, I'm Giuseppe Scionti, founder and CEO at Novameat, where we develop the next generation of plant-based meat. The current intensive livestock system is neither healthy nor efficient nor sustainable for the environment. With the growing population and the increasing protein consumption rate, by 2050, it just won't be possible to feed everyone keeping the current food system. The awareness on this subject is felt everywhere in Europe, US, or Asia, and a large part of the population is cutting or reducing meat consumption. And the acceleration of the plant-based meat sales worldwide is impressive. This market has been growing much faster than the overall food sales, even during the current COVID crisis. The most recent studies point to annual growth higher than 25%, hinting that the sector will become soon up to 30% of the total global $1 trillion meat market. Our purpose is to accelerate the sector's growth by providing the technology that will bring to market the next generation of products. As it's getting clear that the industry is moving beyond the burger, at Novamit, we are developing the next generation of whole muscle cuts made from plants. Our technology has already allowed us to create what was credited as the most realistic plant-based beef stick and pork fibrous meat globally. They're manufactured through our patented microextrusion process, which biomimics the composition of animal muscles, both at the macro and the micro level, simultaneously exhibiting their unique texture, taste, and appearance. Our technology works with natural ingredients to produce an healthier meat with low fat and high protein content, without health-related problems associated with meat consumption. Before we scale up with bigger equipment, we plan to enter the food service segment in the beginning of 2021, providing selected restaurants with technology to prepare plant-based meat products. And for the longer term, we are evaluating our go-to-market strategy to retail, and we are already developing technologies to diversify our revenue sources and commercialize in other verticals, such as in the pet food industry, where we are working on a project with Nestlé Purina, and in the booming cell-based meat sector, as we are already providing scaffolds for this vertical. All of this thanks to a diverse, multidisciplinary team with strong scientific knowledge and committed partners. We are raising 6 million euros to fuel our growth up until the end of 2023. We aim to invest in technology such as big extrusion machines and IP development, and to expand our team. You can connect with us at novamit.com or send me an email personally at gs@novamit.com. Thank you very much for your attention.
Giuseppe, thank you so much. That was absolutely delicious. I'm all over it. I'm going to find that restaurant in Barcelona and try one of these great Novamit steaks as soon as I humanly can. Okay, this is a huge growth area. Do we have any questions for Giuseppe at Novamit? As always, just raise your hands. Our virtual panel over here, raise your hands in La Nave. We have a hand over there. Okay, we're going to go straight over to Marion, who is joining us here with the question. So thank you so much. I myself am a vegetarian, and I'm a big fan of meat substitutes, and my mouth was watering looking at it. So Marion, what question do you have for Giuseppe?
Thank you, Giuseppe. What is your distribution model and your marketing plans to get to the final consumer?
Thank you for your question. So our distribution model is, we said that the first year we are focusing on the food service to collaborate with the top restaurants, so to associate our products with very high premium level of quality. And then we are collaborating with the big manufacturers, so we provide them certain parts of the machinery together with the licensing model, which is the base of our revenue through our licensing fee. So we do that internationally with the big manufacturers and the machinery providers.
Oh, nicely done. Okay, you see, he sped up his answer there just to get it in 30 seconds. Thank you so much, Giuseppe. Absolutely brilliant. I will be at that restaurant. Marion, while I'm here, I mean, you've obviously got a really interesting view on the world, you know, working where you do, and you have a lot of customer data. And so I'm just curious, you know, do you use data for personalization in terms of marketing? How can you see personalization shaping your strategy there?
Yeah, we do indeed. We are a data-driven company, and I think that the strange thing is that personalization can get creepy when you use it on a wrong way. So now we're of course we're very interested in getting more data and use it on a smart way, but we are also very focused on understanding what is the consumer behavior, and what are their bias, and where are the frictions, and why can he really take action on things. So we try to study it in a psychological way. What are the key factors when he's going to take the decision, and mix that with the data. Try to build the content in order to make the experience the more frictionless and the more natural to the client, because each experience is very personalized to each person. So I think that being clever about what is the behavior and what is the people accessing that experience is super important, more than data.
Absolutely. Yeah, well said. Thank you. Thank you. Sorry, just to land a question on you there. That was really interesting, Marianne. Cheers. That's such an interesting thought. It's like personalization is such a growth area, and you know, exactly as you said, there's a bit of a thin line between cool and creepy, and I think where that line lands is in the amount of value it gives to consumers. So you're saying there you're using all the data to really give value and kind of provide this VIP service. I think it's an absolute winner. Okay, we're going to go back to the pitch competitions, and we're going to move swiftly on with a gentleman called Darren Glenister, who is the CEO of Material Exchange from a country very dear to my heart, which is Sweden. And Material Exchange is a platform that connects the world's largest fashion brands with their material suppliers. And the pandemic has really helped them to power interactions between more brands than ever. 100 brands, 400 suppliers, and 3,500 kinds of materials. So this is going to be a really interesting pitch. Come in, Darren Glenister from Sweden. Your 3 minutes starts now.
My name is Darren Glenister and I'm CEO of Material Exchange. The problem we're solving is digitizing the relationship between brands and material suppliers. These materials are typically the materials that we use to produce finished footwear and apparel items. Fashion has been trying for a long time to clean itself up. It's trying to become more transparent, and brands are trying to get more direct relationships with their material suppliers. Material Exchange is a single digital platform that connects brands with material suppliers and actually has the material suppliers' information in a digital form. This means that information is available immediately to brands across the globe. Our platform has two sides. The first is brands, the brands who search the system for materials. And then we have the material suppliers who actually manage their own material data and upload digital representations of their materials. This means that the platform itself is the connecting point, and it means that brands can choose their materials as well as their suppliers through our platform. We have three very positive outcomes from our system. The first is that we have digital material data in one central location, and this can be used for digital product creation, which is now becoming more in demand to reduce the need for physical samples. Also, supply chains can be adjusted, and we've seen the geopolitical situation has pushed that, as well as COVID. And then lastly, we have transparency. By having the information in one place, brands can make better choices over the materials they choose. We work with some of the leading industry partners to deliver the solution, including the FDRA, which is the most influential footwear organization in the world. We also work with leading technology companies to provide our solution. We have a large target audience. We've set a goal of targeting 800 of the biggest brands in the world, as well as 45,000 of the biggest suppliers. We have a few competitors in the space which are indirect. The first is called Li & Fung, which is a sourcing company. The second is a PLM company called Bamboo Rose. And the third is Swatchbook, which is a 3D visualization company. We now have achieved success with over 30 brand groups and work with over 100 individual brands, have over 350 suppliers and 33,000 materials. Our biggest customers include Walmart and actually even Camper from Spain. We've seen a massive increase in the number of brands wishing to get engaged digitally in our platform during COVID. We have more brands during March to July than we did in the whole of 2019. We've also seen a massive increase in the number of suppliers, and we have some of the biggest suppliers in the world. And of course, we've got a lot of materials, and we've now partnered with some of the biggest digital shows for footwear and apparel. Our team comes from within the industry. I previously built a company where I started working with Adidas and then eventually sold it to one of the biggest PLM companies in Boston called PTC. Also, my team have been with me through that journey. We understand about fashion and we understand about fashion tech. We have closed 2 million in funding and we're just about to close another 4 million. And I thank you for listening to Material Exchange.
Fantastic, Darren. Thank you very much. Tack så mycket, as you might say in Sweden. Tusen tack. That was fascinating. Like many of the startups here, they are on a mission to save the world in different ways. If you have a question, please raise your hand on our virtual screens or raise your hand in the Nave here if you have a question for Material Exchange. Okay, we're going to go to Lucia. If you'd like to join us over here and you can ask Darren a question. Thank you so much, Lucia. Take it away.
Good morning, and thank you for your presentation. I was wondering, could you explain a bit better or in depth the business model of your company, please?
Yeah, so we actually have two sides to our business model. One is that we have the brands. We're moving to an enterprise model where they pay for number of users to use the system. We started off by not charging them to perpetuate the marketplace. From day one, we started charging the suppliers. They pay us between $3,000 and $4,000 per year to be in the system. And we're now building a series of services that will add additional value to their materials being on the platform.
Thank you.
And there is your 30 seconds. Thank you so much. Brilliant. Thank you, Darren, and best wishes for the business. That's absolutely fantastic. Okay, so now we're going to have our final pitcher in this block, which is Diego Chorny, who is the CEO and co-founder of Spain's Shop Advisor, described as the first collaborative community for consumer goods that interconnects consumers, brands, and retailers' needs. So the 3 minutes clock starts right now for your good self. Diego, take it away.
Do you check ratings and reviews before making decisions? 90% of consumers do. Let me share how Shop Advisor is changing the way we make decisions to buy supermarket products by giving the voice to consumers. Supermarkets are full of new and unfamiliar products, and we don't have clear information to make right choices. We face 3 uncertainties. Will I like the product? Is it healthy? Can I save money with a better or similar product? Shop Advisor answers the 3 questions. It's a kind of TripAdvisor for the supermarket products. When you scan a product, you will see the reviews of people similar to your profile, the nutrition facts and allergens with alerts, and recommendations based on your profile and targeted discount coupons to save money. On top, consumers can try millions of products for free in exchange for giving their opinion on everything they consume. That's how we generate millions of reviews and consumer reports, blending online and offline data. Our business is based in data, and it's scalable. We own a community that provides different services that we monetize of ratings and reviews, smart discount coupons, and online advertising powered with artificial intelligence. It's a growing market of 100 billion euros, and brands are looking for solutions to generate reviews and improve efficiencies in coupons and advertising. Our competitors offer individual services, but there is no engaged community like Shop Advisor, providing independent and reliable information. Our model is very efficient, and we have a strong network effect, creating barriers for competitors. We are profitable, and we have monthly recurrent revenues with contracts signed till 2023. With our 1 million users, we have generated 17 million reviews for more than 1,000 companies. And brands trust our community. They use Shop Advisor reviews in their advertising. We have an experienced team. The 3 main partners come from C-level positions in Carrefour, Walmart, Unilever, and a Latin American retailer. We are a team of 60 multicultural people passionate for reinventing this industry. We are profitable, we signed a partnership with Carrefour, and the Spanish government is supporting us. Spain, UK, and US will be our next countries, and we plan our first fundraise to invest in technology and expansion. There is a big opportunity to improve this industry by giving the voice to consumers and connecting people, retailers, and brands. Join us in this exciting journey. Thanks.
Another fantastic pitch. Wow, the standard today has just been amazing. Thank you, Diego. So we are going to open up the floodgates of questions, and we invite our esteemed virtual panel of judges and in La Nave here to raise their hand if they would like to make a question. Do you have a question? Big data, we heard it there, it's big business. They have 1 million users generating 17 million reviews. What questions do you have about their business model, their future? Raise your hand. Okay, we're gonna, we have a hand up here from our friend Paloma from Wayra. Thank you so much, Paloma. So Wayra is obviously a company that deals with a lot of big data, so I'm fascinated to know what your question is gonna be. So take it away.
It's a simple question, I'm afraid.
That's good.
Okay, so I was checking that your business model is B2B2C. So do you develop apps for retailers? So how do you go to the market?
Well, we have 2 ways to, well, first of all, thanks, Paloma, for the question and the time. First of all, we have 2 ways of go to market. The first one is doing some partners with retailers. So even they help us to recruit people to be inside of our application. We do some services to them directly. And the other way we are doing that, we are launching in Spain now in October, is with a partnership with Balasis, a big coupon company that we are able with them to get to all the retailers and also to many, many brands to join the ecosystem.
Thank you very much. Brilliant question. Thank you, Paloma. Wonderful. Okay, so I think we are now going to invite some speakers to join us on the stage, and we're going to have a chat a bit more about personalization with some of the leading experts in the field. So we're going to invite to our virtual screens here the CEO of Fever, which is a really interesting company, Ignacio Basile, Juanjo Davidson, who is Executive Director of Data Strategy and Science Innovation at BBVA, is joining us virtually as well. And joining us here in La Nave is Carlos Ignacio Rojas Duran, who is a Mad Tech EALA Practice and Go to Market Iberia lead at Accenture, which is a fantastic, that's a magnificent job title. I'm getting job title envy, that's pretty cool. Okay, and we're going to really explore with our fabulous guests, one in person, two on the screens, and we're going to talk about this amazing world of virtualization. Carlos, I'm going to come to you first because you're closest. That's wonderful. I mean, at Accenture, you have visibility of a lot of market intelligence, a lot of data. It's what you do. You're clever people. You make great strategic advice based on all this stuff. How do you see, from your perspective, the personalization maturity of your clients? And how do you think technology can help them along the way of this journey of personalization?
Well, companies are trying very hard in investing and paying a lot of money in trying to personalize content and recommendation and kind of products and services. But I think, in my opinion, and Accenture is doing a survey every year for more than 8,000 final customers, that the final client is not perceiving that the companies are personalizing and recommending the needs that they have at the daily basis. So we are getting a lot of data from different touch points from the clients, but technology and companies are not yet ready to personalize the content 100%.
Yes, fantastic. Very, very interesting. And, you know, do you think that there are any specific technologies around personalization that you're recommending? Any kind of trends, or is that really just for clients to know? Is it?
Yeah, well, it depends on the client and the tech stack that they are working with.
Okay.
But there are hundreds, even thousands of technologies that are emerging on this kind of marketing advertising technology market. But it is a difficult question to answer. But in terms of, I think that is more a culture matter, even more than the technology, that every team works together in order to focus on take advantage of this kind of technology, whatever it is, technology, CDP, customer data platform, DMP, or whatever, in order to work with the different departments of the company and get this data-driven culture in order to personalize and understand the customer needs.
Brilliant, brilliant. Thank you very much, Carlos. That was fascinating. And it's a saying that you often hear, culture eats strategy for breakfast, but maybe culture eats technology for breakfast as well. So we're going to welcome our two virtual guests here, Ignacio, for the CEO of Fever, and Juanjo, who is the Executive Director of Data Strategy and Science Innovation at BBVA. Ignacio, thank you so much for joining us. I'm going to start with you. So one of the things I noticed about Fever is that you've got this fantastic collaboration with Netflix and Stranger Things, and in fact Fever's often be called a Netflix for experiences. How do you use data for personalization, and what kind of data-driven decisions do you bring into making your business?
Sure. Thanks a lot for the invite. So we think about data, pretty much every minute of the day. We're in the business of entertaining people, and entertainment naturally goes hand in hand with personalization. We each have different things we enjoy doing based on, what mood we're in, who we're with, what city we're in, or even if we're living in a global pandemic or not, right? So all of these factors have to be taken into account, and we need to be constantly updating our personalizations across the board in our company. So we use data especially for the three key areas of the business. Our marketplace, where we're recommending third-party and owned Fever Original experiences. In this case, we look at all sorts of user behavior on the platform, similar to what you'd see on a Spotify or on a Netflix. Every single experience on our platform has many tags that are defining it, and we're seeing real time how those tags are evolving, and based on that, we make personalized recommendations to a unique user level. On the other side, we have also our media. So we own some of the largest media in the world related to entertainment through our Secret Media Network. So, you know, we own Secret London, Secret NYC, Madrid Secreto, and this similar approach is used across over 30 cities. And the reason why those media have become the largest, most engaging media in those cities, much larger than any other local media. So on a global level, we're larger than Time Out, than Thrillist, Refinery29, etc., with a fraction of editors. Why? Because we're actually able to know what content to post on our media through Facebook, Instagram, etc., by actually understanding what people are consuming on our marketplace. So, you know, taking that information, creating tools that interpret that information, and then outputting certain themes or trends that our editors then use to create content is what means that every single item of content we create generates a lot of engagement. And then lastly, on the originals front, these co-productions that we do, you just mentioned the one we launched in LA a few weeks ago. So we were able to launch a COVID-friendly experience together with Netflix. We see eye to eye when it comes to using data for content creation. So we came together and decided to create the best COVID-friendly experience using the crown jewel of Netflix, which is Stranger Things. And in that case, the way we use data is we actually try to understand, you know, what different formats would generate most excitement and most demand to the audience in LA during this current situation that we're living. And based on that, we actually come up with secret ingredients that the experience actually needs to contain in order for it to be successful. So this is done, of course, using many internal tools we've built. We're almost 300 people in the company. Half of them are doing tech-related work, and the majority of those are dealing with data and personalization on a daily basis. So that experience in LA is a great example of it. We sold over 100,000 tickets in less than 24 hours, and it became the largest event in the US and actually in Europe, I think, for the whole of 2020.
Fantastic. Thank you very much. That's really interesting. And when I lived in the UK, I used to get your Secret London emails, and I thought they were great. There was always something interesting in there. So it's amazing to think that that was data-driven. Combining data with creativity. I love that approach. And moving over to yourself, Franco, from the BBVA perspective, could you talk to us a bit about the customization of clients' transactional data to interpret their operations and improve their financial wealth, which I guess would be very interesting to everybody watching?
Hello, good afternoon. Yes, we here in BBVA, we are beginning to tackle the improving the financial health of our customers. And for doing so, we are using data heavily because we want to give our customers a proactive, personalized, and actionable advice. So for doing so, we must know better than anyone the transactionality of our customers and understand their economy, their needs, and the attributes of our different because the same event is not the same for different people. So what we want is each customer differently and help them use and profit from the opportunities that financial opportunities that we see in the transactional data. So this is the way that we are working now in BBVA.
Fantastic. That's so interesting, Juanjo. Thank you so much. So, folks, thank you for joining us virtually, Ignacio and Juanjo, and thank you so much for joining us in person, Carlos. Great to see you all. That was such a fascinating conversation. And now we're going to have a chat with somebody from one of the most inspiring companies, one of the real innovators, an absolute icon. It's a real pleasure to welcome to the virtual stage Beatriz Reyero, who is the Global VP of Strategy and Customer Insights at eBay. Now, Beatriz is an established, experienced digital and e-commerce executive with a passion for digital transformation. She's currently leading the strategy and transformation team for global eBay marketplaces, working with the global marketplaces leadership team to define and implement many of eBay's strategic priorities, including new business models. We are delighted to have you join us today. Beatriz, welcome to South Summit 2020. Hola, bienvenidos.
Hola, thanks for having me.
Lovely to meet you virtually. So I had a few questions. One of the things that struck me very much in terms of data to come out of the pandemic was a study by McKinsey, and their analysis found that e-commerce grew more in 90 days in the spring of 2020 than it did over the previous 10 years. So it really has changed things. And when you think about people being in a lockdown, you know, they're going to do things differently. So I'm just curious to start with, what did you see at eBay in terms of changing consumer behavior? You know, were folks kind of selling things that they needed to get rid of? Were they buying different things? What did you see?
Yeah, I think a big part of what we have seen is similar to other e-commerce players, which is people really buying things that they need in confinement. So a lot of furniture for home and for the office that they needed to have at home, sport articles, entertainment, do-it-yourself, electronics. People has really done a lot of buying to make easier to spend the confinement at home. And I think that is being general across e-commerce platforms and countries, which is great because I think a lot of people has tried for the first time in some cases to buy this type of big ticket items through the internet and, you know, realize that that's a way in which things can be done. And of course, in eBay in particular, we have been also a big market for C2C use items. We also seen a lot of people after spending a lot of time at home realizing that there are a lot of things that they also can dispose and, you know, enter into that type of different e-commerce.
Yes, wonderful. I mean, obviously, you see a lot of what your friends are posting on social media, and a lot of my friends are fans of soul music from the 1960s and 70s, and a lot of them spent a lot of time on eBay buying really, you know, big ticket items, like you say. So obviously, that's, you know, my friends are of a certain age. They're not by any stretch of the imagination. They're Gen Xers, but Gen Zers, the Zoomers, actually behave very differently. I'm curious to hear your perspective on what Gen Z, the Zoomers and the Gen Zs are doing on eBay and with e-commerce in general. How are they so different?
So I think Gen Z is the first generation of digital natives. So they really are people that were born full into the internet. And that makes them a very interesting but difficult target, really. They are very, very connected. You know, an interesting piece of data, they spend on average 7 hours a week on social media only watching video. So that is going to change a lot how e-commerce is going to have to be done in the future. You know, the people that really, really trust influencers, 40% of them really rely on what an influencer tells them on these videos to make a purchase. So very connected, very into social media, much more into the circular economy. So, you know, 40% of them, for instance, they buy already used items and they kind of recycle and give a second life to what they buy. That's part of what they really want to do. They look more for more authentic brands that, you know, resonate with their beliefs. So a lot of interesting opportunities, but they also are used to and really expect a frictionless experience. And that's where it becomes difficult, right? Like they have an attention span of 8 seconds. They really used to get really quick stories on videos and so on, 8 seconds. So most of them do not have any tolerance for slow downloading or difficult, you know, browsing and so on. So interesting, different, and difficult.
Absolutely. Oh, that's so interesting. So thank you for joining us, Beatriz. That was a fascinating look under the hood of the future of e-commerce, what the Gen Zers are doing, and what's happening in D2C marketplace like eBay. That's so influential, so famous, and I know that everybody I know uses eBay, so it's great to chat with you, and thank you so much for joining us. Okay, so now we are going to move away from the area of personalization to our next block at South Summit Consumer Trends today, which is all about real estate. And the world we live in today, you know, of course it's digital, and the search for a home is no different. Shoppers now have apps that allow them to search by location and neighborhood, and searching online maximizes the ability to compare and contrast homes on the market by selected features. Most of this is done before the prospective buyer even talks to a real estate agent, and this is a very new trend. So I've got a few stats that you might actually find interesting here. 81% of older millennials, 80% of younger millennials, and 78% of Gen Xers found their home on a mobile device, compared to 68% of younger boomers. So that's a fundamental part of how this business is changing, and we are going to be meeting some of the companies who are looking to change that sector. Okay, so let's get straight into the next brave contestant for our startup competition. And you know, these startups, there's many thousands who apply every year, only 100 get through to the finals, and we're seeing the best of the best now. So I really want to congratulate everyone who's got this far. Our next hopeful is Inigo de Pascual, who is the CEO of Casum from Spain. And Casum is the smartest way of buying a home when you can't access a mortgage. So Inigo, take it away. Your 3 minutes starts now.
Hello, I'm Inigo de Pascual. I'm here to present Casum, the smartest way of buying a home when you can't get a mortgage. I am introducing you to Paula and Miguel from the outskirts of Barcelona, who have a nice monthly income, but they don't have the savings to access a mortgage. Their dream of buying a home seems unreachable, and they have no other option but continue renting. On the other hand, we have investors interested in residential rental market. However, they identify some obstacles. The main is finding stable and reliable tenants, and additionally, to manage the whole process. The objective of Casum is that couples like Miguel and Paula can start buying a home. We let them do it with a gradual ownership model that works like this. First, they choose their dream home, and they start by buying the part they can afford with a minimum of 5%. The rest is bought by an investor from our network. Once the home is bought, they move. And if they have purchased a 5%, they will pay a rent for the remaining 95%. On top of the rent, customers can buy the rest little by little at their convenience. Casum takes care of all the process, from the purchase and daily management to the resolution of the joint property ownership in maximum 7 years. In return, Casum receives from investors a purchase fee and a management fee. Casum offers to its customer an intermediate solution between traditional rent and mortgages, and it's better than traditional rent because they are co-owners from day one. They pay a rent below the market price, and by reinvesting the savings, they shorten the time to get a mortgage. They can also choose from 10 times more available homes. And also, Casum has a flexible model. There is no debt involved, since there is no obligation of buying more. For an investor, Casum is better than traditional rent because the guarantees are much higher. The initial purchase of the tenant acts as a guarantee in case of default. So in this way, investors can assume the risk of investing in higher yield areas. Tenants will take care of the home as owners. There are no vacancy periods, and tenants pay from day one. And Casum takes care of all the process. And on top of the economics, it's important to underline the great social impact of this initiative. The addressable market for Casum in Spain are 1.3 million households that are renting now, but they have the intention of buying in the next 5 years. Several models like Casum have been launched recently. They already have the backing to purchase flats of relevant investors like Allianz, Credit Suisse, BlackRock, and Morgan Stanley. Finally, I am presenting our team, who has broad experience in successful startups and in real estate. Casum is launched within Nucleo Venture Builder. Being here is an important milestone for Casum that encourages us to continue working to help more couples like Paula and Miguel to reach their dream of buying a house. If you are interested in investing in high-yield rentals with premium guarantees, feel free to contact us. Thank you very much.
Excellent. Thank you, Inigo, and to Paula and Miguel. You're a lovely couple who are using your platform to buy a house. Okay, do we have any questions from our amazing, amazing wall, our wonder wall of judges? Feel free to put your hand up. Yeah, just a little moonwalk there. Feel free to put your hand up if you have a question, either in La Nave or in our virtual wall here of fantastic judges. I thought that was a really, really interesting product, personally. And, you know, like many of the startups here, you're really trying to find solutions to improve the world and to affect social change. Okay, we don't actually have any questions. That's really cool. It means you answered all the questions, Inigo. Thank you very much. Okay, we're going to move swiftly on to our next hopeful, who is Kubicasa. And Kubicasa is the most scalable way to acquire property interior data. And joining us all the way from a country I'm very familiar with, Finland, which is wonderful, is their COO, Jarmo Lumpus. So, kiitos, Jarmo. Your 3 minutes starts now. Take it away.
Hello, my name is Jarmo Lumpus. I'm the founder and COO in Kubicasa. Kubicasa was founded 2015. We are a team of 20 people in various locations. We were selected into Chicago-based accelerator program in 2017. Last year, we received investment from FPS, who is our channel partner in the target market. We have been a finalist and a winner in various startup competitions and also received awards and nominations. And we have a strong focus in US real estate market. Kubicasa is building the largest asset of property interior data. What's the problem? First of all, less than 10% of the residential listings have a floor plan. Listing entry is a time-consuming process with no objective data available. Home valuation process is very slow and expensive. Home search experience is poor, and there is high inaccuracies in property tax and insurance valuations. Overall, there is a lack of structured, reliable, and accurate property interior data. Kubicasa solution enables the fastest data collection from property interiors. User takes a 5-minute scan with Kubicasa app, and our AI technology processes automatically a 3D point cloud, and that can be further processed into floor plan and accurate property data. Kubicasa app was launched 2019, and it works both in iPhone and Android. The key advantages over the competitors are that there is no extra hardware needed. It is very easy and fast to use, and our customers save costs up to 50% compared to any other method. Right now, Kubicasa app is the fastest growing scanning solution. We have more than 1,400 recurring customers, and average monthly user growth is around 20%. Volume of the scans by Kubicasa app has been amazing during the first half of the year. 10% week-to-week growth while the whole world was in lockdown is pretty unique achievement. Our business model for selling floor plans is transaction. However, the actual property data is sold as subscription, and customers are larger real estate companies. Our average annual revenue growth has been more than 60%, and this year our total sales will be more than $3 million. Why invest on us? First of all, we have proven the market demand with amazing growth numbers. We are cash flow positive, and there is a unique opportunity to build data asset for $150 billion ecosystem. Thanks for your attention.
Thank you so much. Kiitos, Jarmo, as I would say over in Helsinki. So that was Kubicasa, who took us through the keyhole of virtual floor plans. And I was very happy to see they already included South Summit October 2020 on the pitch deck. That was very cool. So esteemed judges on our virtual wall over here, if there are any questions for Kubicasa and for Jarmo, please put your hand up. And judges joining us here in the Nave, any questions? Any questions? It is possible that that presentation covered all of your questions. It was very thorough. Going once, going twice. Okay, that's it. We have no questions for Kubicasa, so thank you, Kiitos, Jarmo, for that brilliant presentation. And now we are going to welcome two wonderful speakers to join us to talk about navigating this new normal, this post-pandemic world that we find ourselves in. And we're going to invite them to discuss navigating the new normal. And I'm going to welcome to the stage Alejandro Artacho here in La Nave in Madrid. Please come and join us, Alejandro. Nice to see you. Alejandro is the co-founder and CEO of Spot-A-Home, who have a fantastic logo, as you can see on his T-shirt there.
Thank you.
Thank you for joining us here in person.
Yeah.
Lovely to see you.
Thank you.
And now we are going to virtually beckon our other guest speaker, whose name is Laura, pronounced in the Irish way, I'm happy to say. Laura Gonzalez Estefani, who is the founder and CEO of the Venture City. Welcome, Laura. How are you?
My pleasure to be with you. Thank you.
Wonderful. Okay, so I'm going to step back and I'm going to let you two talk about navigating the new normal. Thank you.
Thank you. Well, hi everyone. So the topic is navigating the new normal. And so Laura and I, we were thinking about, this is obviously a global crisis, but there are going to be more crises in the future. That is something that we all have learned. And in times of crisis, it's very important to have amazing investors. I'm very fortunate to have many great investors, and Laura is one of them. And obviously, COVID hit us really hard in Spot-A-Home, as the same as travel industry. But then Laura was one of the investors that helped us through advice, as well as many others, because she has that experience. And maybe Laura, or Laura, it's weird for me to say Laura. You have been in multiple sites in different crises,
Yes,
so maybe you can share some tips. Yeah.
Yes, I think I have a master's in crisis management. I've been in the dot-com bubble in 2000 years. I've been in the financial crisis in 2008, in the 2011, and now in the 2020. So I guess that for those that are in the entrepreneurial world, investors or entrepreneurs, we know that we're always in crisis. Sometimes it's because of context, as in this situation that we're facing today. Sometimes it is because you have issues with your team. Sometimes it's because you have issues with your competitors. Sometimes it's because you have issues with your product. So pretty much I've seen it all. And Alejandro and I were thinking about really sharing like stories of how we've navigated those situations. So for example, as a venture capital, right now in 2020, one of the things that we recommend is that we're all in crisis. It's not only that the founders of our companies are in crisis, we as venture capitalists are in crisis too, meaning that many companies of the portfolio are going through their lowest times, and we have to be working together and we have to support each other to go and navigate through. Sometimes we feel that it's just the people around us, the ones that are getting the hit, but it's all of us. Some of us also, or not in my case, but some others are getting the hit personally because they have family members that are going through the virus, and some of them have also lost loved people. So it's really a situation that is really kind of like unprecedented in many ways. And our recommendation on how we've navigated with the companies in our portfolio has always been about being transparent, very honest with the teams, with the investors, with yourself, so that we can get it through together. So, Alejandro, tell us a little bit, how are you doing after all these crazy events? How are you doing right now?
Well, I think, let me share a bit of our story in transparency. So when COVID arrived in March, then we are not in the travel industry, we are in real estate, but then many of our users around the world, they book accommodation in different cities and different countries, and therefore they need to travel, right? So all of that, it was blocked. So the same that happened with Airbnb, Booking, Expedia, revenue kind of went to zero, and then a bunch of cancellations. So by that time, actually, was our 6-year anniversary. When that happened, right? So you spent 6 years building a company, putting everything into the company, putting your health, and then suddenly everything is gone, right? So they say that suffering is the resistance to reality. And so I started to talk with the investors and then and shareholders, and first you need to accept reality. And for me, what it was a good exercise, and it was in the very first days of COVID cases, is I outlined multiple possible decisions, and I took the hardest decision that I could take. And the reason I did that is to just remove all fears and then you start facing all the other decisions in a different way, right? And my hardest decision was actually reducing the cost of the company by almost 80%, that meaning 80% of the headcount, because one of the things that it was clear to us is that a pandemic like this, it wasn't going to be a thing of few months, and in our case, it would take a lot of time to recover. And then when you are the CEO of a company, cash management is your only job. Before you were doing product, helping in product, helping, doing recruitment, doing all, helping out the teams on multiple tasks. But then now your job is just cash management. And we were thinking, okay, we need cash for at least 2 years or even making the company profitable. So that's the decision that I made. And obviously letting go, in our case, 80% is a few hundred people. That was hard, but then I had the massive support from the board and everyone. And what it helped us out there is, as Laura said, being super transparent from day one. We went to the team, we started to have 2 all hands per week, sometimes 3 all hands per week, and being bluntly honest with the company. I think people appreciate that you don't hide things and you are fully transparent, and then you are going through hard times, the same as everyone else. It's not their fault, but then your job is your job, right? And so be transparent. We had to do this process, and then my recommendation is always think in your team, because it's not their fault that they have to go, and they have been giving a lot to the company. So in our case, we did public directories and help people place them in different companies and do that. And unfortunately, it's something that many companies are doing. But anyways, having said this, it's actually a good thing because we did forecast very conservative, and actually everything is going much better than we expected, and our P&L now is much healthier than ever before, better margins than ever before. So actually I'm very happy with the outcome from a business perspective. It's not something that you wished for at the beginning, but then from hard moments you shape who you are as a professional and in a personal level, and it's the beauty about the journey is the person that you transform yourself, and only going through through hard moments and pushing yourself to hard things are the way that you're going to grow, and your business is going to grow, right? So I leave it to Laura because.
No, I wanted to share, and with the spirit of being transparent, when I was in 2008, I was pregnant with my second child, and eBay, I was working for eBay back then, and eBay was going through a huge reorganization like the one that Artacho had to make because of the context situation, right? And I was one of the unfortunate that had to leave the company. And in that moment, I love the company, I love my teammates, I love the mission of the business, I was super happy, but the company had to restructure. So there I was. And the same year, at the end of the year, Mark Zuckerberg came to Spain to a Facebook developers garage organized by Martín Varsavsky in El Teatro Lara in Madrid. And I was fortunate enough as to get interviewed by the team, and I was hired. So basically what I learned from that crisis was that in the moment, it really breaks your heart. You understand why the company has taken the decision, why you, after being such an amazing, super supporter of the business. So the feeling is that sometimes doors close, but there are bigger doors somewhere else going to be open for you. And I'm pretty sure that a lot of the spotties from Spotahome that had to leave, there will always be Spotahomers for sure. And I'm pretty sure they will do great because they were a great team once they were working with Artacho. So be optimistic, just adapt, being in the entrepreneurial world, we need to know as investors, as entrepreneurs, that things change from one day to the next.
Right.
And it's amazing to be working in these companies, but at the same time, we need to face reality when it comes. So transparency and honesty.
Absolutely.
And I think it's very important what you said about that being very fast and adapting, because when you need to do transformations like the one that we did, Actually, it's also a good opportunity to focus on the basics, focus on what makes you strong, leave aside the things that they don't make any difference, and really going back to the basics and doing the things that you always wanted to do, but you had the external pressure for growth, and sometimes at all cost, and also to reinvent yourself and looking at different, for example, in our case, we are seeing parts of the market that are actually growing, so we are going to double down on those, and then reinventing ourselves, and by being more nimble and leaner. Still, we have a lot of, our team is very big still, and now, it's all execution. Let's talk more execution and startup mode, and then so yeah, we got to be super optimistic all the time, and more crises will come, but.
Super optimistic. I absolutely love it. That's brilliant. What an inspiring way to wrap up the conversation. Thank you both so much for joining us here at South Summit, sharing your insights, sharing your journeys. A phrase that struck me when you were both talking is sometimes the obstacle is the path. And, you're both kind of finding your way through it in fine style. Thank you so much, Laura Gonzalez Estefani and Alejandro Artacho. Thank you so much for joining us. Brilliant.
Thank you.
Thank you.
So now let's move on to our next block within consumer trends at South Summit, and it's an area that's very dear to my heart. As I said at the very beginning of today's session, I used to work in a virtual world with Timo from Small Giant Games, and even though this was many, many years ago, we still had hundreds and millions of users, so the huge potential of virtual worlds was very clear even then. And virtual worlds are predicted to be very big business. The virtual reality market is expected to reach almost 88 million in just 5 years. And the VR technology market is growing incredibly quickly. It's really gaining widespread recognition in just a few years since its initial appearance. So maybe our last two startups of the day will be the future success stories in this fast-moving sector. Let's see as they compete for the South Summit Award in the category of Best Consumer Trends Project. Our next pitcher is Anything World from the UK, represented by Gordon Midwood, who is the CEO and CTO, and Natalie Lambert, who is their head of studio. Anything World is a platform to create 3D experiences with anything you can think of in real time, with a voice-driven interface and applied AI behaviors. So check it out. Here's Anything World. Please welcome to the stage for 3 minutes of pitching fame, Gordon Midwood and Natalie Lambert. Take it away.
Hi, we're Anything World. My name's Natalie. I'm head of studio, and this is Gordon, our CTO and CEO.
Hi, everybody. The problem that we're trying to solve is that it costs a lot of time and money for people to create and animate their own 3D asset. And creators are also limited by whatever they pre-made into their applications traditionally. And we've also integrated voice computing in our platform because it's hard to integrate well within 3D worlds. So yeah, that's why we've created this platform to empower creators to build what we're calling limitless 3D experiences. And what do we mean by that? Good question, Gordon. I will answer it. At a high technical level, what we've created is a cloud-based platform which allows creators to add voice technology if they wish to have access to over 500,000 3D objects. And crucially, with behaviors added, that's our special sources that our machine learning understands all these models and adds behaviors. So at runtime or anytime, if you're making a 3D app, you can create whatever you like and call whatever you want into it, and we'll supply it and it'll behave naturally within your 3D world.
We started with feasibility studies last year, and we launched the alpha build for this platform back in May. We're looking to launch the platform to the public in mid-September.
Well, that's almost now, isn't it?
Pretty much. So over the past year, we've had some really interesting accelerator programs and partnerships with big brands and enterprises. We just wanted to tell you a couple of the prototypes that we've been working on. So one of them is the Rabbids Playground with Ubisoft. We also have a relationship with Warner Music and developed an app called Sing and Play,
which is a kind of visual karaoke, sing along to your favorite Warner artist, and the lyrics kind of pop up and appear in your world. It's kind of silly and kind of funny, but without music, it's a bit dry.
We were also in chats with Instagram developing a voice lens so that you can say any message that you like and it's visualized in front of you. And also did a prototype for Facebook, which is a meme creator. So you could text a message to your friend and then that text would be visualized. bringing very, very funny and very silly results.
Yeah, I hope that gives a kind of a flavor of the kind of stuff we can cook up, to carry on the cooking metaphor. The trends that we believe we're well positioned to take advantage of are mixed reality coming in a meaningful way, especially if Apple and Snapchat bring out desirable glasses. The explosion of 3D content, Epic's acquisition of Quixel is an example there. Voice technology being everywhere from phones to homes to cars to toilets, and 5G and edge computing being powering on-location experiences when we're allowed to leave our homes. This is an investor slide with large bubbles that I'm sure you've seen millions of before. Our heritage is in gaming, we didn't say, but we made independent games before this venture. And so that's very much where we're concentrating right now. We have a hybrid business model to allow people to come in on board without worrying about the costs, a combination of subscription and royalty payments, a mixture of Unity and Unreal's approach there. And we're also targeting 1.5 million GBP raise at the start of next year to help to fund more of this kind of magic craziness. And that is us.
Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Oh my goodness, split-second timing there. Well done. Well done, Anything World, Gordon and Natalie. Okay, fantastic presentation. As with all of them, I don't envy any of the judges. I think you have some very difficult decisions to make because all the startups are amazing. We have a bit of time for any questions for Natalie and Gordon from Anything World. Okay, so now we are going to go on to our next wonderful pitcher, and it's actually our final pitcher of the day. How exciting. It's been such a great day, so much talent here. And our final pitcher of the day is a company called Cluist. I hope I've pronounced that right. Coming from Spain, Cluist is the first location-based augmented reality platform to play and create adventures in the real world. Please welcome, for our grand finale of the Consumer Trends Pitching Competition, the CEO of Cluist, Eduardo Saldaña. Take it away, Eduardo. Your 3 minutes starts now.
Today, millions of players keep catching Pokemon with augmented reality and smart devices. But the moment for a massive augmented reality market is imminent. Thanks to the first of different techs to make AR wearables popular, these devices are about to disrupt the market and change it all. We live in the age of content, in which people feel the urge to create, share, and consume original content on the internet. This tendency of user-generated content and social connection has also reached the video game industry with examples such as Roblox, Minecraft, among many others. The next step is AR user-generated content. The problem is that making the type of content is hard because you need to code, to have artistic skills, and know how to reach your audience. That's why we made Quest, the first platform to create, share, monetize, and live interactive experiences in the real world just with your smartphone. It's the YouTube for augmented reality. So what's Quest the solution? Because you don't need to code at all. Thanks to visual editors, everyone can make their geolocated video game or interactive experiences. You don't need to have artistic skills either, because with our tools, you can create characters, objects, or environments very easily in a few minutes, provide them with a behavior, and bring them to life. It's also a complete social network connecting creators and players and making creativity the center of everything. So what can you do with Quest? You can create your own Pokemon Go, your treasure hunt, your adventure with characters to talk to, enemies to fight, puzzles to solve, and riddles. You can share that with the community and become popular and maybe make adventures for a living. You can do all this stuff on your smartphone and very soon with AR wearables as well. We're going to start focusing on players and video games, and very soon it will turn into a very powerful tool for education, marketing, tourism, and more too. So where could it prove? Because during the pandemic, the video game industry grew, and AR games such as Pokemon Go or Jurassic World Alive set new income records. Quest is completely prepared to allow users to create and play from home if required. And it's free to play. And we're going to monetize with in-app purchases, a marketplace to buy and sell assets, ads, and positioning the platform together with subscription, big data, and partnerships. We are in a closed beta with thousands of users giving us daily feedback. We're about to open in Spain and very soon in Europe. That's why we just started a funding round of $1.5 million to open in this territory, also to explore the North American market, to gain 10 million downloads and unleash a retention of 40% 12 months after launch. With this team, we're capable of everything. We're going to change the world, and everyone's invited. Quest and roll.
fantastic, or Cluist, as it's pronounced in Ireland. So do we have any questions for Eduardo from Cluist? I thought that was a fantastic presentation, you know, big ambition, changing the world. We've got those Apple AR glasses coming in quite soon. Members of the jury, please put your hand up if you have a question for Cluist and for Eduardo. Okay, going once. We do have a hand up over there. Do we have any hands up over here? I'm going to head over here and head over to our friend Lucia, who's been very kindly asking brilliant questions all day. And so no pressure, but I'm looking forward to your next question. So take it away. Your 30 seconds with Cluist starts now.
Which other actors are on the market, and what is your difference with them?
Okay, Unity and Unreal engines, for example, are professional, so people have to learn how to use them to create AR experiences. But with Cluist, everyone can create adventures. I mean, it's very easy. We use visual models and tools to allow everyone to create characters, enemies, etc. So it's democratizing the content of the creation of AR content. It's completely different.
Thank you, Lucia, for another great question, and thank you, Eduardo from Cluist. So we have been talking about virtual worlds all day, so we're going to be welcoming another virtual guest to our wonderful stage here at La Nave in Madrid. Alfonso de la Nuez is the co-founder and co-CEO of Zoom, who's joining us for the closing keynote. So welcome so much to South Summit 2020, Alfonso.
Hello, how are you?
Hey, all good.
It's actually user Zoom, not Zoom.
Oh, did I say Zoom? I beg your pardon.
Make the difference there.
You know, you know, the night. Yeah.
It'd be nice to be Eric Yuan today, for sure.
Exactly. Maybe that's what they call a Freudian slip in investment terms. So I'm a big fan of UX, and one of the statistics that I like to share a lot is that IBM found that every $1 invested in UX, user experience, provided an ROI of between $10 and $100. And Forrester found that improving UX on a website can increase conversion rates by up to 400%. So these are massive differentials. But these statistics are years old, at least 5 years old, and that was all made before the pandemic. So talk to us a bit about the state of UX in 2020 after the pandemic and what it means today.
Yeah, I think there is probably quite a few cases of even higher conversion rates and higher return on investment today, since we believe that every company is a digital experience company. You know, whether you're a B2B or a B2C, or a pure.com or a brick and mortar, you're still a digital experience company. That's how most, if not all, of your consumers are going to interact with your brand, right? It's going to be through some sort of a glass, right? Whether it's a laptop or a phone or a tablet or whatever. And so, you know, what UX and product UX design does is that it increases every single way that every single business metric that you can think of for digital products, whether it's higher loyalty, reduce risk of development, of product development. One of the things that is very popular today is use agile design and development techniques. And so doing UX research and UX testing while you're in the development process helps you de-risk the development, which is something that you want to do ahead of launching your product, right? So UX research is helping and reduce cost, but then of course once you're live, if your products find the product is useful, is easy, and it's intuitive, then your users are going to use it again. They're going to repeat, and you're going to have a lower churn ratios, et cetera, et cetera.
Very good points. I'm a big fan of UX, product UX design. So how, from your point of view, can product UX design help to deliver this high level of customer experience that modern consumers absolutely demand these days?
Yeah, consumers expect easy today versus maybe a few years ago when they appreciated that. But today it's expected because everything they do whether it's a banking experience or learning experience, or even a product that they may use internally at work, or of course for fun and entertainment. That's what they're expecting. Otherwise, they'll just go to another site, right? So what UX design and UX research can do is ensure that before you launch your product, it's going to meet the end user expectation. And end users, sometimes they may be the customers, but they may not be the customers yet. So what you want to do is run continuous testing and monitoring of your product during the design process, and then once you're live, so that you can design on data, basically. And UX is becoming a bigger portion of the overall customer experience that everybody appreciates and cares so much about. But it's not enough to just collect feedback after you're live. Feedback management is very popular. What UX does is that it comes in a little earlier in the pre-live stages, where you can already launch testing campaigns and make sure that you're going in the right direction before you go live.
And we've heard there about how product UX design helps improve the customer experience. But what are some of the ways that product UX design can improve things in terms of business performance, more kind of internal factors?
Yeah, I look at it with my own product team all the time, right? We're looking at how what research and design does actually impact business metrics, which is what ultimately the C-level executives want to hear and want to focus on. So again, back to the point about de-risking the cost of development. That's one of the top ones. We see a lot of investment in design and development and engineers. But what if they could have those teams work more efficiently and more focused on what the end user needs? If there was a way to do that through continuous testing and monitoring during the development process, you'll find that you can actually optimize the cost of development. And that's one of my top, personally, one of my favorites.
Yes. And
but then there's as a SaaS business, you're going to be focusing on churn or retention. And we see that there's a direct correlation between higher UX and higher retention.
Absolutely. Good UX improves, scores and metrics across the board. And Alfonso, I'm afraid that's all we have time for. The co-founder and co-CEO of UserZoom, thank you so much for joining us for this closing keynote of South Summit 2020. That's been fascinating. Team UX, I love it. Okay, so that is actually a wrap for our exciting Consumer Trends Day at South Summit 2020. But do please tune in for our prime time sessions today, which is of course scheduled so everyone in the world, it's a very convenient time for folks everywhere to tune in and hear from some incredible leaders like Nick Cash, Katie Coleman, Carlos Sanz, and many more. So please don't miss it. That's the prime time sessions later. And don't forget that you can also watch some great parallel tracks that are running today, all about fintech and also travel and tourism. And stay tuned as we announce the winners of each of our category competitions and each of the 9 tracks for South Summit today. And the startup competition winners in each category will compete for the grand prize to be the final winner of South Summit 2020. And it will be announced this afternoon at the end of prime time. There can only be one. That's so exciting. I'm thrilled to see who that's going to be. I would just like to take a moment to say thank you to all of our speakers, all of our judges, all of the startups who bravely pitched so brilliantly today, and a special thanks to Marie and the wonderful team at South Summit here for making this all possible. And let's really join together to grow and build this South Summit global ecosystem family and make a difference. So folks, enjoy the prime time, enjoy the competition winners, enjoy the one big winner of South Summit 2020, and of course, enjoy the rest of South Summit. Thank you.